Good afternoon. We're going to try it one more time. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, that's better. My name is Thomas Payton, president of the Canton Chamber of Commerce, and I would like to just officially extend a warm welcome to everyone here today for this special luncheon. We eagerly look forward to hearing from Supervisor Williams as he delivers the annual State of Canton Township address. But before we get into that segment of our program, we would like to start, of course, by acknowledging our sponsors for this event this afternoon. Without our sponsors, we know that this would not be possible. So we have four sponsors today. That's Beaumont, Bovitz CPA, PC, Comcast, and the Manick and Smith Group. And we're going to just take a little bit of time to hear from each of our sponsors. And first up, I would like to invite up Joe's Couture from Beaumont.
Good afternoon. My name is Jose Couture. I am the Vice President for Beaumont Wayne Hospital. So, Honorable County Executive Mr. Evans, Honorable Supervisor Pat Williams, and all other elected members. So, Beaumont Hospital is located in the Wayne, city of Wayne, which is about 8 miles away from it, and we are one of the 8 hospitals in the Beaumont health system. We are a 185-bed community hospital with several specialties. We are also one of the bigger employers in the region. There are 500-plus physicians who have privileges at Beaumont Wayne. Every year we perform about 3,600 surgeries, including Da Vinci robotic surgery. We have 2 busy ERs, one of them right here in Canton and also in our Wayne campus. We also do about 67,000 emergency visits, which is one of the largest in the region. Some of our services we offer at Canton includes our weight control center in Canton, then also the new sports and orthopedic injury clinic where you could actually come to one of our orthopedic injury clinics located right here in Canton Emergency Medicine, which is located on Canton Center Road and Warren. And we are able to provide same-day services at that site. This clinic is open Monday through Sunday, and during the weekdays it's open from 4 to 8 p.m., and also on Saturday and Sunday it is open from 4 to 6 p.m. North Canton, we also have a Canton campus, which is located on the North Canton side, where we provide all the imaging services and also other supportive physician services also. And we strongly, Beaumont Health System as a hospital, we strongly believe in the prevention of diseases and identifying issues early. So we are currently offering several programs like 770 program for a heart check. That means that you get about 7 tests done for $70 for heart disease prevention kind of programs. Also, we have started a new lung nodule clinic which actually screens for lung cancer. These are some of the new programs available at Beaumont Wayne campus, and I am glad to be a part of this program. Thank you all.
Next up, representing Bovitz CPA PC, Mr. Rob Bovitz.
You know, it's hard to believe that my wife Katie and I we're celebrating our 20th year as Canton Township residents. And we've truly enjoyed our time here and the first-class police and fire services we've been accustomed to, our award-winning Department of Public Service, our award-winning leisure services. You know, but it all starts at the top, whether it's Tom Yak or Phil LaJoy, but Pat Williams has really come on as our township supervisor, and I'd like to thank Pat. I know it's a family affair. I know Pat and Nancy, they take upon their personal time to help enhance the quality of life here in Canton. In fact, Nancy has a Facebook post where she says, report a pothole, and of course that's very timely. So thank you, Nancy, for helping people report potholes. Hopefully it's getting to the right people. And Pat, you know, I remember a year ago, his first State of the Township, a little nervous, but he came out of his shell. In fact, a couple weeks ago at the Relay for Life kickoff show, he was seen mopping a floor as the opening act. Kind of reminded me of Joel Gray as the MC in Cabaret. So, Pat, look forward to you, and thank you for your service.
Next is Kyle Mazurek, representing Comcast.
All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. As mentioned, my name's Kyle Mazurk. I'm a government affairs manager for Comcast, have responsibility for all of Western Wayne County, Canton area included. But it's great to be here with you today, both to support the chamber and to support Supervisor Williams and acknowledge all the hard work that he and his team put forward on behalf of area residents and businesses alike. I've got two quick updates for you from my world, and you can hold me to the quick component of that statement. First up, for those of you who are Comcast residential internet service subscribers, hopefully you noticed at the end of the year your speeds increased. So if you had our 10 meg service, that's now 25 megs. If you had our 25 meg service, that's now 60. And if you had our 75 meg service, that's now 100. I think that's important because I draw a parallel to my wife and I, who have in our little household of two, we have 3 iPhones, 2 iPads, 3 laptops, a smart TV, and a Blu-ray player, all connecting to our in-home Wi-Fi. So if your lifestyles are similarly absurd to ours, hopefully that speed increase is helping you out a little bit in terms of congestion. And then the other update I have for you also has to do with internet speeds. For those of you that do economic development, there's a lot being said, written, in terms of ultra high bandwidth internet service, particularly for the business community. And just last week on the 28th, Comcast deployed our 1 gig, what we call DOCSIS 3.1 service across Southeast Michigan, so obviously Canton area included. And I think that's really going to be a game changer for the small to mid-sized business markets, because we've always had a group that does fiber solutions and they do multi-gigabit speeds. But those sorts of solutions tend to be cost prohibitive for a small mid-sized business. So now that component of the market is going to have access to much more robust speeds at a much more affordable price point for their purposes. So thank you for your time and attention. Hope you enjoy today's program.
And lastly, but certainly not least, is Mr. John Browning from the Mannequin Smith Group.
My name is John Browning. I'm a senior vice president at the Mannequin Smith Group. Our offices are located here in Canton, our largest office. We are a full-service civil engineering, surveying, and environmental firm, and I always like to piggyback on things Rob said. So we stand ready, willing, and able to do engineering, design, and repairs for as many roads as we could get money for. So please make those calls. I want to thank Supervisor Williams, the elected officials, and our public servants here. As a resident of Canton, you guys do a tremendous job making Canton a great place to live. It's a great place for my employees to work, and it's a great place to run a business. Thank you very much for your efforts.
Can we have one more round of applause for all of our sponsors? To Beaumont, Bovit CPA, Comcast, and the Mannequin Smith Group, on behalf of the Canton Chamber and Canton Township, we wish to thank all 4 of those companies for their continued support of our organization and the Canton community at large. I think I speak for all of us when I say that it is an absolute pleasure to be a part of the Canton community. Whether you are a resident here, you own a business here, you work here, I think we all agree that Canton is truly the place to be. And it is my honor to actually introduce our Canton Township Supervisor, Pat Williams. Pat was elected as supervisor in November of 2016 after serving 8 years as Canton trustee. In addition, he worked a total of 38 years in the automotive industry. And having worked on the factory floor up through the ranks to become a business owner, Pat also worked the 14 years prior to being elected as a commercial manager for various Ford Motor Company enterprises. Pat holds a material science degree from Schoolcraft College and a Bachelor of Science and Master's of Business Administration degree from Lawrence Technological University. Most of you know Pat from of his wife, Nancy, and his involvement around the community through over 25 years of active engagement in the Canton community. Pat has supported and served with many different organizations, including United Way, Canton Rotary Club, Canton Goodfellows, PCCS Educational Excellence Foundation, the Canton Community Foundation, Habitat for Humanity, Leadership Canton, Partnership for the Arts and Humanities, First Step, Canton Relay for Life, Growth Works, the Canton Chamber of Commerce, and Salem High School Booster Clubs. So you can see just how involved he and his family have been in the community. In addition, he is the current vice chairman and secretary of the Western Township Utilities Authority Board and a member of the 35th District Court Board of Directors. He is also treasurer for Conference of Western Wayne Communities. Pat has been married to his lovely wife, Nancy, for 34 years, and they have 3 adult children, sons Sean and Joseph, and their daughter Erin, who is married to Richard McKenzie. Pat and Nancy moved to Canton over 30 years ago. They chose Canton for its great location and excellent schools, and proudly became a Salem Rock family. Their most important job is being grandparents to their grandson, Declan Joseph McKenzie. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Supervisor of Canton Township, Pat Williams.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming, everybody. Before we get started, I'd like to announce a few special guests. But even before the special guest, I'd like to acknowledge the left hand and the right hand side of my brain in my office, which is Amy and Jessica. Thank you for the job that you guys continue to do day after day, keeping me between the white lines. I really appreciate your efforts. Thank you. We have also a special guest today, and our partners on a lot of different levels, several individuals. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to kind of announce these really fast. If you could all just kind of stand and then hold till the end, and then we'll get the applause off all at one shot, so we can move through this a little quicker. So first up, we have our superintendent, Monica Merritt, Gretchen Ward, Educational Excellence Foundation, Beth Mead, Canton Community Foundation, Eva Davis, our library, Penny Kreider, representing Senator Colbeck's office, Wayne County Commissioners, both Joe Barone and Al Hadius, Beth from the Michigan Philharmonic is in the audience with us today, and let's see, last but not least, Canton Township's newest resident, Wayne County Executive Warren Evans and his lovely wife Renata, who's at work today. So Warren Group, thank you all for coming today. At this time now, I would like to introduce the Canton Board of Trustees. In attendance today, again, same thing, if everybody could please stand and then we'll hold off the applause to the end. We have Clerk Segrist, Treasurer Slavens, up in the nosebleed section. Trustees Anthony and Snyderman, thank you. And working today also is Anne Marie and Summers. So thank you guys for everything we've done the last year. Last year consisted of another record number of study sessions. To ensure that all of our new board members, we're not new anymore, we can't claim to be rookies so much, but we want to make sure through the study sessions that we fully understand our roles and responsibilities. As well, we've had a few challenges the past year, but each time we've worked through the issues and we've always continued to come up with the best solutions to move our community forward. I'd like to cover some of the highlights of 2017. As Thomas has shared and the others, is Canton's a great community to live in, and we've got so much to be proud of and so much to brag about. One of the biggest stories was a switch to, I'm going to go through 2017 first and then kind of talk about 18, what's coming at us. But the biggest stories was a switch to automated recycling. When we first introduced automated recycling, we had a few unhappy campers, but with time, as folks got used to it, we worked out the kinks. I think for the most part, the community is very happy with the recycling program. As well, we are extending the life of the landfill for years to come as each month's data keeps showing that our recycling continues to grow month after month. So thank you, community, for doing that. Canton reached some rarefied air recently as our municipal service department earned national accreditation. They've been working very hard behind the scenes for the past 3 years, and what the national accreditation does is it benchmarks standards across the nation in terms of best practices. Canton was successfully with the municipal services in the fall. Actually, the announcement was only officially a couple months back. Canton is one of 2 agencies in the state to achieve MSD accreditation and one of 113 in the nation. Also, the accreditation now brings us to 4 major departments who have national accreditation. It's our finance, leisure services, and police departments. And then the last major department to go through national accreditation to ensure that Canton is upholding the highest level of standards in all areas is our fire department, and we're very confident that they will come out next year or so successful with that effort. Next up, we have a slide that is a map of all the roads in Canton Township. There's about 410 miles of them. The goldish color roads are the county-owned roads. The blue roads, those are the, blue are the privately owned roads. The black are the state-owned roads. And then the red ones, those are the Canton-owned roads. I'm sorry, there are no red. Mr. Bovitz stole my thunder with the, you guys laughed at the appropriate point, thank you. Mr. Bovitz stole my thunder a little bit on the potholes, and County Exec Evans and I spoke briefly, actually quite a bit about it this afternoon. It's a priority. It's a priority for all of us. Everyone who drives Canton roads knows that they're horrific. And there are people behind the scenes who are working tirelessly to do as much as they can, as quickly as they can. County Exec Evans shared this afternoon, but that they're looking at doing a pull ahead of the next 5 years worth of roads funding to expedite projects. By this, what they're going to do is bond as opposed to using current cash. With this, it'll bring more projects faster. And County Exec Evans, thank you very much for this. We appreciate it. Also, behind the scenes, Summer Foster, one of our trustees, has been working very hard with Jim Costiva on a roads task force. They are coming up with recommendations. They've been meeting since last fall, and they're going to present recommendations to the Board of Trustees for long-term solutions for Canton Township, ideas that we may be able to follow up on in the near future. Also, our relationship with Wayne County continues to improve and evolve. We've reestablished a cadence of quarterly meetings for the match pairs, meaning County Exec Evans and myself. We meet on a fairly regular basis, as well as Director Foss with Mr. Evans's teams, as well as down at the engineering level. Guys talking to each other to ensure that we both understand where our priorities are and move things through as quickly as we can. Last year, the Summit on the Park received a facelift. We had some aging infrastructure. The facility's out there a little over 20 years, and the improvements allow us to create a highly desirable destination that will continue to meet the evolving needs of our community. Additionally, the Block Youth and Teen Center was the lucky recipient of a kitchen makeover from IKEA. What started out was as a request to IKEA to help us with some cabinets turned into a full-on remodel. All the items were assembled and installed by IKEA employees at no cost to the township. We're very thankful for IKEA's generosity. Canton Sports Center was also able to overhaul 8 of its 12 fields utilizing funding from the Wayne County Parks Millage. The remaining 4 fields will be upgraded this fall. The past year, the Canton Election Commission, led by Clerk Segrist, made significant changes to precinct boundaries and voting locations affecting approximately 18,000 voters. These changes will allow Canton to absorb up to the 5,000 new residents coming to our community, have come to our community, streamline the cost of administering elections, reduce travel distance for the voters, as well as reduce lines on Election Day. Also, Clerk Segrist and his team have much to be proud of. in terms of a recent Detroit Public Radio investigation of 129 communities in Macomb, Oakland, and Wayne County, found that Canton was only one of 8 communities who provide digital FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, filing options. In fact, Canton was one of 3 communities who provided the information at no charge and was the first community to respond. We're very proud of the fact that we are a regional leader in government accountability and transparency. It's not just the big things that Canton Township does in terms of buildings and big ideas. It's also taking care of the details, which our administrative staff does an amazing job of. On more than one occasion the past year, the bad guys have been thwarted in Canton Township trying to defraud us. Fortunately, thanks to the due diligence of our employees and administrative employees and staff, those attempts were stopped in their tracks, and I'm very proud of an outstanding team working for us all. One of the last highlights of 2017 was the successful completion of the water storage facility. You may remember last year, I shared with you the freak accident of the truck that drove through the church en route to Canton. Thanks to Great Lakes Water Authority, they allowed us to use some gently used, previously owned pumps and motors to get us through the test phase. The good news is we were successful in the test phase. It is fully up and running, and we're projecting to save $3 million a year in our water costs from the storage facility. The savings will allow us to reduce the debt service on the facility at a much faster pace. Right now, in terms of the big picture, the new housing stock continues to be added at pre-recession rates. Last year, we added 538 new rooftops, and we project as many, if not more, in 2018. This is keeping our building, engineering, and inspection divisions very, very busy. Commercial occupancy rates remain very high. Anybody who drives down Ford Road during the evening or the weekend knows that Canton's economy is robust. Moving on to, as we look forward to 2018, we have more good news coming, hopefully, on the waterfront. Canton Township and Northville Township are working together through the Western Townships Utility Authority to potentially buy water jointly. Right now, Great Lakes Water Authority is incentivizing the reduction of customers from their base, so there is an opportunity there to see some potential significant savings if we're able to pull this together. At the end of this month, the board is going to be reviewing all Canton-owned parcels. We're going to look at each piece of property that Canton Township owns and determine if there is or is not a community need. For example, there's been a set aside of some funds based on a developer purchasing some land that is earmarked specifically for pocket parks. Also, we're going to look to see if there is indeed no community benefit. Perhaps there's an adjacent property owner that may be interested in parcels that we're holding. We continue to pursue grants for trail expansion. In 2018, we will use grants that will continue our trail that will go from I-275 to the border of the city of Wayne. Also, we have grant funds that are going to be used for crossing controls for all of our thoroughfares east of Canton Center. Also, June 2nd from 9 to noon we're going to have a National Trails Day with a free family-friendly event at the trailhead located at Morton Taylor, Michigan Avenue. In an effort to ensure Canton programs, facilities, and amenities are welcoming and accessible to all of our residents, Leisure Services is moving forward with their You Belong Here campaign or initiative. These efforts will concentrate on removing physical, social, cultural, economic barriers to participation with a focus on increasing access for aging and disabled, better aligning programs and services to match current and future demographics, and evaluating access issues related to social equality, gender identity, and cultural barriers. Also, Canton's 55 and over crowd will be receiving some new digs to enjoy in 2018 as the Seniors Summit on the Park Center will be getting a makeover. Renovations are planned to begin during the summer Summit on the Park shutdown, which should occur late summer, early fall. As you can see from some of these renditions, it's going to be a welcoming and fun atmosphere for our Club 55 Plus. Also, the organization is gearing up for an upgraded phone system installation that will prepare us for the next generation of 911. Because 911 systems were originally built using analog rather than digital technologies, public safety answering points across the country are being upgraded to digital or protocol-based 911 systems, commonly referred to as Next-Gen 911. Canton is a leader in another area. Opioid abuse is on the rise all over the country. While we are doing everything we can in terms of combating the epidemic locally, we are also a lead municipality in what will be the next big class action suit against Big Pharma. In Canton, tragically, our incidents continue to rise. Our public safety is partnering with several of our local partners through GrowthWorks, St. Mary's Hospital, and other hospitals hopefully will be getting involved as well to help us destigmatize addiction and get help to those who want it. We are beginning the planning process for a new fire station number 2. The current facility on Warren, while mostly functional, is not designed for today's technologies and equipment. It stands as it was originally built 42 years ago. We are in the process of purchasing adjacent land to the east and conducting a needs assessment to ensure the new station will adequately serve northeastern Canton for years to come. Once complete, also, the entryway from the east side will also be a little more attractive. This year, we'll see some improvements in our GIS operations, that's Geographic Information Systems, which is a critical mapping tool that is used by all functional areas throughout the township. What it does is it tells us where everything is located, literally, above ground, below ground, as well as in some of the industrial facilities, what chemicals may be there if we're there on a fire call. We are partnering with Plymouth Canton Community Schools and Eastern Michigan University, are in the process of trying to partner with these groups to assist us in loading in the massive amount of data so that all groups have it at their fingertips when it's required. We very recently received word that the Lily Road Bridge will be repaired in spring of 2019. It's still a long ways off, but the good news is now we've got an estimated completion date. Financially speaking, one of our priorities is working with our organization's unfunded liability. Recent legislative changes in the state of Michigan dictate a minimum funding levels for pension and health care. Canton is currently compliant with all the state laws and has a long-term plan to continue funding at an accelerated rate to exceed the state minimum requirements. The graph shows the tremendous progress we've made in the past few years, alone just on the health care portion. Overall, financially, Canton is in good shape. You can see that pretty much bottomed out in 2013 after the recession on our general revenue funds. Even though we're not back to 2008 levels, we're definitely headed in the right direction. Now some fun stuff. May 17th, we're going to have a shredding event that will occur behind Township Hall from 10 to 2 p.m. Watch the Focus for more information on that. This is an extremely popular program for the seniors, and I'm hoping we have good weather. It'll be a neat day out. Also, our annual household hazardous waste event collected nearly 140,000 pounds of materials that were diverted from our waste streams and recycled. Good job to all the residents. It's a big deal to not have these materials go into our landfills, and they did an amazing job, 140,000 pounds. The Olympic ice dancing team, the Sibs, Maya and Alex Shibitani, who train locally at Canton Arctic Edge Ice Arena, won bronze for us, which I'm sure most in the audience are aware of. Also, you may not be aware of is our own Canton James Wisniewski. He led the USA men's hockey team to a strong showing in the Olympics. Didn't bring home the medal, but they still made us all very proud. Canton Fire Department. Each of the fire department vehicles carries advanced life support equipment. This allows first responders to begin emergency medical treatment immediately in the event that the ambulance is not the first to arrive on the scene. This is very important because the national average for cardiac save rate is only 27.9%. 27.9. Last year, Canton Township's cardiac save rate was 57.1%. That's more than double the national average. So this is a little tongue-in-cheek, but Canton is a great place to have a heart attack. Canton remains one of the safest communities with populations over 90,000 residents, according to FBI statistics year over year. On a more serious note, we're very, very proud of our public safety department's responses to some recent events. Their handling of the hostage situation at one of our banks was absolutely outstanding. No one was hurt, and it was resolved very successfully. Also, the last few weeks, we've had a few incidents of threats of violence at the park, our local high schools. In each instance, Canton's public safety team's response was exemplary, and we absolutely are very proud and happy with what a great relationship we have between public safety and the school district. So, Ms. Monica, thank you for that, ongoing. You know, when I stop and think about my first full year as a Canton supervisor, in many ways it paralleled my grandson's Declan's life as a 2-year-old. As a rookie supervisor and a new board of trustees, sometimes we had to get a little dirty. On occasion, we were a little befuddled, but we kept at each and every challenge and sized up each situation based on its own merits. At times, we had to look a little deeper at the issues confronting us, but each time, we all went to work. Through teamwork, we persevered again and again for Canton Township. Let me close by saying I'm very proud of the amazing team of Canton employees that we have here. They work for all of us, day in and day out. I'm also proud of the relationships that we have with the Chamber of Commerce, the library, the school districts, as well as the other community-based organizations. I know we will continue to work together to make sure that we have an amazing 2018 and beyond. Thank you very much for coming today.
Thanks, Pat, for that very informative update. The Canton Chamber is honored to have Supervisor Williams as both a partner and supporter of our organization, and so we thank you for that. Just a couple of brief announcements before we dismiss everyone. One quick thing, one of the next biggest events coming up for our Canton community and the Canton Chamber of Commerce is our annual auction fundraiser. We hope everyone is planning to attend. In case you didn't notice when you walked in and saw the display, our theme for this year is Safari. The auction will be held on Friday, April 27th. So that's a bit of a change. We've typically held it on Saturday. This year it will be held on Friday, April 27th at Fox Hills, in a new location this year. So it'll be at Fox Hills. This is the Canton Chamber's premier fundraiser, as we need everyone's help to truly make this a success so that we can continue to fulfill our mission as an organization. So if you haven't committed to a donation or a sponsorship, we ask that you please consider it. And if you have done so already, we thank you for that in advance. In closing, just a couple of thank yous. Again, thank you to Supervisor Williams. A special thanks to Joe Kavoriak and his great staff here at the Village Theater. Give a round of applause to our folks here at the Village Theater. This theater is just a gem of our community, and so we are happy every year to bring this event here to the Village Theater. Special thank you also to Leisure Services Department for helping us with some behind-the-scenes and logistical organization. Also, everyone up in the control booth, Phil Garcia and Kristen Thomas. I can't see you because of the lights, but I know you guys are up there, so thank you for your help as well. And thanks again to our sponsors, to Beaumont, Bovitz, CPA PC, Comcast, and the Manick & Smith Group. We thank you for your continued support of this event and to our community. Everyone drive safely, and we hope to see you next year at our 2019 State of the Township.